Hello, friends. Allow me to take this opportunity to thank you abundantly for journeying with me. Um, I've been on this earth for several years, and as I celebrated my birthday today, uh, I received a lot of um, best wishes. I received a lot of love from many of you, and I felt I just want to say thank you in this way. There's so many things that I could do to individually reach out to you and express appreciation. Um, but I want to say that this far, the Lord has been good to me and my family. Not because I have done anything exceptionally good to God, but I believe because of a very unique investment in the relationships, the web of relationships that um, we have developed over the years. And I say we because at a certain stage I became a family um, with a wife and children. So I know for more than 20 years or so now, um, uh, that part of the family makes it whole. But very individually, I want to recognize some of the things that I believe uh, are worth naming in this relationship that has brought us this far, and why I continue to call you friends, and I turn up to thank you. But one of these things that remains critical are the values that we share, and I know that for most of us, we have shared uh, our faith and belief in God. Our spiritual orientation has remained common. And I think this is important because, again, when people are spiritually dysfunctional, the relationships don't last. But I believe that I have those of us that we have known each other since childhood and we are still friends, even when we don't get to connect as regularly as we would like. But the fact is that we have remained friends. When I hear your name, you hear my name, we feel connected. And one thing that I want to just affirm is that aspect of our shared faith in God. I also recognize that in the many years of my relationship within the web of friendships, uh, I cannot proudly say that there's never been conflict. The conflict has always been part of life, and even within um, our matrimonial settings, I do disagree quite a lot with my dear wife and even my children. But one thing that the Lord has taught me, and I believe this is something of value, is that I try to see value even in every disagreement. There's always something of value that one can highlight. And once I recognize that thing that is of value, I try to decrease um, myself, even my position, and just saying I'm not going to be as firm, I'm not going to be as negative. So I believe that this kind of attitude is really helpful if we have the attitude of seeking to see something good each one of us and celebrating that instead of building so much on the bad, which is offensive, which is of displeasure. So I thank you, friends, because I know even where we have disagreed, we have a reason to continue staying together and loving each other and sharing because our attitude remains seeking to see the goodness in God's creation, goodness in our relationship. Um, there are certain limitations I would say I have continued to experience. And this may be true even for those of us that we are friends, that when issues are not thrashed out, when communication is throttled, we are not able to move forward in joy. And so I do recognize that uh, whenever there are disagreements, wherever there are contrary opinions, staying in touch with each other and communicating, just sharing frankly on the subject matter has been really helpful. So I think we need to look up and celebrate that it is possible for us to have remained friends this far because of our ability to share on these issues and stay positive. Uh, listen with empathy and just learn. Because when I stay engaged with you and you stay engaged with me, you will understand me and you will know, the depth of my hearting and you will appreciate if there's harm in the relationship. And so communication and just being humble around, um, seeking to understand the other person before you are understood. So I want to highlight that, and I want to say, even where I've not delivered a note, um, let us just learn to stay linked. And I think the internet has really made things much easier. As you can see, if I do this and I'm able to share it with you, we stay connected, we stay sharing. There's something which is common, and that is probably what we have continued to celebrate more than the many things. There are times when we are in the valley. There are times when we are in the margins of life. And one thing that makes you think of the other person is who comes to be available at these unusual times, which happen to be so common of late. Who comes to be available? And there are people who they will be available with you in prayers. Thank you, friends, for those who have been with us in prayers. There are those who will be available materially. They will physically provide. They will give you money. They will bring things. And I want to say thank you because when we have needs and we have people coming, we have friends coming with whatever form of availability, it has been really, really great. And we continue to just thank God for that availability. And I also pray that you find us being available where we have not arrived in hand with financial support or with material support, and you recognize that we are praying with you, that we are setting out our voice loud and clear to God, and that God, in His own mysterious and special ways, are able to reach you. So again, I want us to remember that constant availability to each other has been helpful. And probably I would appeal that let's continue in that mode. There are specific things that sometimes um, we don't quite um, recognize. And this is commitment. This is commitment. There is nothing that we can achieve unless we stay committed to a cause. And in a relationship, I think that's why God went into this business of a covenant, because covenants kind of bind us to stay committed. And I hear many a times people say that your word is gold. And I mean, your word is such a value that if I tell you I will do this and you don't get it done, then the value goes down. So I would say that let us stay committed. And I think for me, as I express my gratitude for you friends, I just want to say that I will stay committed to our relationships. I would consider it as a covenant that we have a relationship which we must stay committed to. If we take it for granted, if we don't value it and we don't practice some of these critical rituals that I have mentioned, then it becomes a relationship that is weak and is not life-giving. So I have spoken a lot, but I just wanted to say thank you for the great wishes. Um, as I move ahead in life, um, this is a time that I intend to take up new things, um, and I trust God that with your companionship, um, we will have a reason to go before the Lord and say, God, we have been in your service. We continue in your service. Hear our prayer. Hear our cry. And then the lamentations of the season, uh, the challenges that we face in the 21st century, in our own small ways, we'll be able to chip it away, and as we make progress towards the larger salvation. So thank you. And if I don't get to reach you any further, please know that as a friend, I really appreciate you. And enjoy Merry Christmas together with my family, my dear wife Pamela, my son Geno, and my daughter Sembi. We just want to say, be blessed and Merry Christmas. Thank you, dear friend. Thank you so much. Amen.